Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to my channel again. If you are new here, make sure you stay subscribe and like my videos. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. So we're going to be making this. It's like a half boo and straight skirt. I saw it on Instagram and I just knew I had to recreate it. So yeah, I just moved our cat from the place I'm supposed to cut the fabric on. And so I'm going to be using this Ankara fabric. It's just the normal Ankara fabric. And here I'm just taking off the stickers, just a normal procedure. So guys, for this tutorial, I feel like you don't really have to hear me saying, oh, sorry for that noise. So you don't really have to, I don't have to explain a lot. I feel like you can get what I'm doing by just watching the video. Okay, it's not easy to follow, honestly. But I feel like you guys will get it. Okay, so stay tuned. In some places I will be quiet, and okay, I might not be quiet. Maybe I'll try and explain all through, but let's see. So for starters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off that part of the Ankara fabric that has the stickers. It will be for the scarf. Of course, you can still remove the stickers, but not now. So I just took that out, and then I'm going to start cutting the straight skirt. So now I'm just folding the fabric so that I can cut out the front part and back part of the straight skirt. And I believe her hip is 40 or so, and then I added 2 inches for sewing allowance. So you just place your own hip measurement plus your sewing allowance, and then the amount of fabric you need. And so this is it. As you can see, I'm just arranging it accordingly. I believe I used 12 inches, actually 24 inches, but since it's folded into 2, that is 12. So this is it, and I'm going to cut it out. That's what I'm just doing. Guys, please make sure you subscribe, okay? And I can see my new subscribers. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Please make sure you go through my channel, watch all the videos, okay? Because I'm sure you get 1 or 2 things that you'd like. So here, this is the back part of the skirt. So from that 12 inches that we cut, you see I added another 10 inches for the back part. That is the working allowance, okay? And I just placed the front part on the back part so that I can cut them out all together. So from the lower waist to the hip is 7 for her. Then from there to her knee, or 2 inches above her knee, I believe it was 18 or so, 18 or 17, and that's what I just marked out, and I drew a straight line. And you can use your own measurements, so you'd get it. Here I'm just placing her hip measurement. Then for her knee measurement, I'm going to say her hip measurement minus 1.5 inch or minus 2 inches. And then here I'm just connecting them. I used my ruler. Then you see from that knee, I'm just drawing a straight line down, and that is it. And then here I just placed her waist measurement, and I'm going to connect it to the hip measurement using my French curve. Of course, you can use your hand, but it's more accurate to use your French curve. Sorry about the background noise, it's my niece again. Okay, I'm sure if you watch like a few of my videos, you would have seen her once or twice. So she's the one even here. So I just measured the length of her skirt, which is plus sewing allowance, which is I think 42 inches, and I marked it out. So on that hip line, I'm extending it to the back part of the skirt too. So I realized my phone wasn't recording, but I'm going to explain what I did. So on your hip line, guys, on that hip line, you are going to add 2 inches. You are going to add 2 inches on your hip line. That is for the zipper allowance and for the butt allowance. Then on your waistline, you are going to add 1.5 inches, and then on your knee line you add 1.5 inches. Then you curve it out and connect the 3 points. I hope guys you got what I just said. Then that's all. Then you cut it off. So you see, so on the hip side it's going to be a little bit bigger by 0.5 inch, than the other sides. That is your butt allowance, because if you want your straight skirt to come out really good, then that part is the working allowance. And this is what we have the front part and the back part of our straight skirt. Now we're going to make the half bubu. I'm just cutting out this little excess because we used almost 2 yards of fabric for the straight skirt. Then now we're moving to the half bubu. I think I used I used 2 yards for the half bubu. I used 2 yards, so it's 36 inches wide, and then the length, I believe I used 42 inches. Here I'm just folding the fabric. I'm just folding it. Like I said, 2 yards, which will make the bubu to be 36 inches wide, and then the length I used 42 inches. So this is it. I folded it into 2, then into 4, as you can see. Now guys, this is where the drama is. And listen, please, let's just give credit to designers, people that just design dresses, outfits in general, because I was just thinking, how will these curves come out? Like, if you saw from the thumbnail or even from the clip in the first place, guys, like the curves on the edge of the bubu, all the curves are symmetrical, like they are almost equal, if not equal. Like, it wasn't freehand sketch in general, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's like the designer used, I think, a particular frequency, if I can say so, to cut them out, to cut out the curves at the edges. So here I was just wondering how he or she did that rather. I was just thinking, guys, here I'm just using my French curve to draw dots and see. But then as I was doing this, I realized there's no way he just did this, because for starters, this is not coming out exactly as the as what am I saying, as the bubu was. As you can see here, that's not how it was. And like, he wouldn't know, like, there's no measurement like this, you see. So there's no way he did this. I had to sit down and think, and then I got a paper, I think, and then tried it out, then did it on this. Here I was still thinking. Guys, listen, it might be a little bit confusing, honestly, this part of the bubu, but if you listen and you look at what I'm doing, you definitely get it. Because even with all this that I did, I still made a mistake, even though it wasn't really a big mistake, but I still made a mistake. So make sure you subscribe, guys. Please subscribe to my channel, okay? I'm really trying. Like, I'm trying so hard to be consistent. Okay, I think this is where I finally got it. So guys, what you are going to do is you are going to break the parts of your of the bubu into like different parts. Here I'm using 5 inches interval. So 5, you mark 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, or you could use 4, 4, 8, 12, and continuously. You could do that. So you or you can even use 3.5 maybe. So, but don't pass that mark, guys, so that it will be, very moderate. So then you draw your lines on each mark. So you see there's a line on 5, 10, 15, 20. On each mark, just draw a straight line. Okay, we're going to connect it, and you understand what I'm doing here. So I said you can use either 3.5 or 4 or 5, because I feel like if you use more than 5, it will be too big. Then I'm using an interval of 3 on each line from the starting point. Can you see, from the starting point I'm marking out 3. For here you can use 3 or 2 or even 2.5. Please don't, I feel like if you go more than that, it will not be equal. I don't know, try it out and see. So you see, for the first line 3, the second line is 6, 9, 12. Do you guys get me? I hope you are getting what I'm doing, guys. Or from this first line of 3, you can start from that line and then mark out 3 again. I hope, guys, I'm explaining it well, sure. If I'm not, but you can see what I'm doing, right? So this is where I realized I made a mistake. So you see, I'm supposed to start from this first line that I drew, right, the first line here where my French curve is sitting right now, that's where I'm supposed to put my first dot of 3, but then I started on the second one. That is where I realized, blah, there was a mistake there. So when you are making your splits, make sure you start on the first line. Okay, make sure you start on the first line for yours, so that you not make the same mistake I did. Yeah, but I'm just going to fold that part out, so that we'll continue, then I'll correct my own. So now, assuming I didn't make that mistake, okay, so this is what we have. Honestly, for this, you really need your French curve and your ruler, so that it can be as accurate as possible. Using freehand sketch, I feel like your curves might not really come out well. Okay, yeah, so here I'm just thinking about how I'm going to correct mine, because I thought I had ruined everything. And then, as you can see, the lines are drawn very clearly, but alas, I didn't. I even wondered if I should just cut off that first part, but I didn't do that. I just corrected it off camera. So okay, here I'm trying to zoom in closely so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So from there, you use your French curve, you connect each dot to the next dot. I hope you get that. Or the dot at the top to the one below it. Can you see what I just did? So you see, from that first line to the second dot, then the second dot to the third one. Can you see what I'm doing, guys? I feel like here you might be able to even use your freehand sketch to do this, but I don't know. I used my French curve to make sure it's really accurate. So that's what I'm just doing. I'm going to do that for all the rest here. That was the paper that I used to try it out. Can you see? Even though for the last one, because it's 42 inches, so since I use the interval of 5 5 5, I will have 2 inches remaining, right? So you can still use your 5 here, or you can just use the whole 42. So then I decided to use everything, I think, right? Yeah, so I hope you can all see that here we already have the shape. So I went off camera and I corrected my own. Can you see I started from the beginning now? But for here I used 2.5 inches as my interval. Okay, so you can use 3, you can use 2.5 inches, and then here I'm just cutting it out. And guys, please, when cutting it out, be really careful. Okay, be careful so you won't ruin your curve shape. Okay, and I'm not cutting exactly on the line. I'm cutting like half an inch to the line, so that it can serve as sewing allowance. Okay, and then if you can see, when I'm cutting it out, I will cut it out curvedly until when I get to that line, then I turn my scissors. That's how you ensure that you get that little sharp corner at the end of each curve. Okay, just look at what I'm doing and you'll get it. And please be very careful and patient in doing this, so that it comes out really good and nice. So this is it. Can you see? Yeah, we have it. Yes. So guys, when you are doing this, please make sure you use what is it called, paper gum. So on the rough side, that is where the gum is, so you make sure you apply it on the edges. Just put a long stripe on it, so that when you sew your what is it called, your lining, it's going to come out sharp. Okay, when you iron it, guys, it's bomb. So you put your paper gum, you iron it, then you sew in your lining, and then that's it. So I'm just showing you guys how it is, and that's it. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Okay, like, if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? What is it? Tell me. Can you see what you are missing? You don't know. Maybe in my next video you might not even see it. Yeah, so I did something too. I decided that it wasn't as sharp as I wanted it to be, so right at the edge I decided to cut it inward like half an inch, and then I think you guys can see what I'm doing, because I'm not even sure how to explain this. But right at the edge, I took out like half an inch on each corner, so that it can be very sharp. It can be sharper than what I originally drew. And that's what I'm doing for each one of them. Of course, this is optional. If you don't mind, you can leave it, but I wanted mine to have really sharp edges. And here I'm just marking out the neck. So for the neck, I used 2 inches depth and 4-inch wide, and then I used my French curve to also make it curve like the edges. Can you see? I just made them, meet each other, and then I made it sharper, and then I'm going to cut it out. Just the same process as those edges. Of course, this is optional. If you want, you can just cut out a round neck or a V neck, but I wanted mine to be, similar to the edges. And you should also use the paper gum for the neckline too. And this is what we have. Yay! Pretty fast. Oh no, it's not fast to do, honestly, guys. It wasn't fast. Yeah, so this is mine after I had applied the paper gum. Like I said, you just put a stripe of it, then you iron. It will immediately gum to the fabric, and that's it. So you see, this is how it looks. You see, this is how I did it in the first place. Like this, just a long stripe. Then here, and make sure you separate the front from the back of the bubu, okay, so that if not, when you are cutting out your what is it called, your lining, it won't be accurate too, guys. Make sure you iron the fabric too, then you separate them so that you have really clean and cut out lining. So this is it after I had stitched the lining to the fabric. Can you see? Even the stitching, guys, please make sure you are very careful in the stitching. Be patient, be very patient. I think what you need the most here is just patience. Don't rush the process, okay? And that's it. I have my boo after ironing it, guys. Make sure your iron is really hot, and then press down the edges. Make sure you use, maybe you can even use something to make sure the edges are all out. Then you pour on a little bit of water, then you iron it out, okay? Make sure all the edges are out, because if you just iron it roughly, the edges will not come out as good as this one, okay? Yeah, and that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for staying tuned with me, and stay tuned for more. Bye.